I sincerely want peace, not because I lack resources for war, but because I hate bloodshed. I praise loudly. I blame softly. If Russians knew how to read, they would write me off. One does not always do the best there is. One does the best one can. Nothing is more difficult, in my opinion, than to avoid something that fundamentally attracts you. Power without a nation's confidence is nothing. It is better to inspire a reform than to enforce it. I beg you, take courage. The brave soul can mend even disaster. Happiness and unhappiness are in the heart and spirit of each one of us. If you feel unhappy, then place yourself above that and act so that your happiness does not get to be dependent on anything. You were in a mood to quarrel. Please inform me once the inclination passes. The laws ought to be so framed as to secure the safety of every citizen as much as possible. Political liberty does not consist in the notion that a man may do whatever he pleases. Liberty is the right to do whatsoever the laws allow. The equality of the citizens consists in that they should all be subject to the same laws. The more a man knows, the more he forgives. You philosophers are lucky men. You write on paper, and paper is patient. Unfortunate empress that I am, I write on the susceptible skins of living beings. The intention and the end of monarchy is the glory of the citizens, of the state, and of the sovereign. But from this glory, a sense of liberty arises in a people governed by a monarch, which may produce in these states as much energy in transacting the most important affairs, and may contribute as much to the happiness of the subjects as even liberty itself. The usage of torture is contrary to all the dictates of nature and reason. Even mankind itself cries out against it and demands loudly the total abolition of it. I am one of the people who love the why of things. No man ought to be looked upon as guilty before he has received his judicial sentence, nor can the laws deprive him of their protection before it is proved that he has forfeited all right to it. A great wind is blowing, and that gives you either imagination or a headache. Self-interest usually brings injustice with it. First health, then wealth, then pleasure, and do not owe anything to anybody. In a state or assemblage of people that live together in a community where there are laws, liberty can only consist in doing that which everyone ought to do, and not to be constrained to do that which one ought not to do. I cannot live one day without love. I will live to make myself not feared. I shall be an autocrat. That's my trade. And the good Lord will forgive me. That's his. I may be kindly. I am ordinarily gentle. But in my line of business, I am obliged to will terribly what I will at all. The most sure, but at the same time the most difficult expedient to mend the morals of the people is a perfect system of education. Very early it was noticed that I had a good memory. Therefore, I was insistently tormented with learning everything by heart. For to tempt and to be tempted, there are things very nearly allied. Whenever feeling has anything to do in the matter, no sooner is it excited than we have already gone vastly farther than we are aware of. I do not love strife, because I have always found that in the end, each remains of the same opinion. You should know our mania for building is stronger than ever. It is a diabolical thing. It consumes money, and the more you build, the more you want to build. It's a sickness like being addicted to alcohol. Tell 1,000 people to draft a letter. Let them debate every phrase and see how long it takes and what you get. All punishments by which the human body might be maimed are barbarism. In my position, you have to read when you want to write and talk when you would like to read. It is better to be subject to the laws under one master than to be subservient to many. The trouble is that my heart is loath to be without love, even for a single hour. If you want to keep me forever, then show as much friendship as love, and more than anything else, love me and tell me the truth. Men make love more intensely at 20, but make love better, however, at 30. Equality requires institutions so well adapted as to prevent the rich from oppressing those who are not so wealthy as themselves. I like to praise and reward in a loud voice and to scold in a whisper. Your wits make others witty. God grant us our desires and grant them quickly. I have no way to defend my borders, but to extend them. Do not worry about things you cannot alter. All this only for the mice and myself to admire. Madame, you must be gay. Only thus can life be endured. I speak from experience, for I have had to endure much, and have only been able to endure it because I have always laughed whenever I had the chance.